And on that note...
Welcome to the November 2016 Floyd Radio Show from right here on the famous stage of the Floyd Country Store, home of the Floyd Radio Show with live music and dancing, local food, clothing, gifts, and heritage music recordings in beautiful downtown Floyd, Virginia since 1909. We have a great show this evening, folks.
Thank you. The bells with Jingles All the Way. A double-sided platter of your favorite commercial jingles from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Oh, listen to those bells. Jingle, jangle, jingle their way through your childhood, which you spent on the couch, watching television, for 8 straight hours every day after school. Who can resist singing along with classic jingles like...
I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I'd truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not an Oscar Mayer wiener. Well, that is what I'd never like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, then there would soon be nothing left of me.
Oh, I'd like to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I'd truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me.
And if you're full of baloney, how about a little Alka-Seltzer?
You worked too hard, you ate too much, the cheesecake made you greedy. Let your aching head and stomach hear this message from old Speedy.
Alka-Seltzer, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is.
An honor to introduce our featured guest tonight. New York Times best-selling author Beth Macy is here with us tonight to tell us about her new book, True Vine.
And people are talking and singing and shouting and crying and rejoicing that a story that has been untold for so long is being told. Beth.
Thanks very much. It's great to be back at the Floyd Radio Show. I'm going to read a little section from early on in the book, which talks about the importance of music in the Muse brothers' lives. Shortly after George and Willie Muse were kidnapped from Franklin County, Virginia, from True Vine, their sideshow manager told them to quit crying. They should stop begging to be returned home because, after all, he lied to them, their mother was dead. Their vision problems caused by their albinism were growing by the years, providing future circus pressmen with an endless array of night vision jokes. But from minstrelsy to American jazz, the mastery of music gave marginalized blacks a freedom and power that many white musicians of that era couldn't fathom. African Americans bent rhythms and upended traditional white tonal patterns. They threw in swoops, growls, slides, and glissandos, infusing the music with a passion and spirituality that made it uniquely their own. Rohrer told me it was music played by people who couldn't read or write their names, but they could play with more authority than anyone out there. And whether they were pretending to be from Ecuador or from Ethiopia, when they played it, George and Willie now had something that connected them, even obliquely, to their roots. Music seemed to lessen the brothers' misery, and it made them special for something, finally, besides the strangeness of their skin. It gave them a skill that they would each carry with them, literally, to their graves.
Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. I'm singing, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom
freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
Over the music of Willie Muse, and he's singing, "It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go."
It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to Tipperary.
Sweetest girl I know. Farewell, farewell to Piccadilly. Goodbye, Lexus. Goodbye.